Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Kyle Carroll with MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Tonight, we're joined by Bobby Casale, who'll be fighting at Cage Fury 123. Bobby, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Pleasure to have you on again. Last time we spoke, you were coaching in the corner of Amanda Nunes. Tell us a little bit about this fight you got coming up against Antonio Noel.
Yeah, so I'm on the CFFC September 1st in Philly. I'm super pumped. I haven't been able to fight since last August. I had a few fights scheduled and they fell through, but then I ended up moving back to New York from Florida, changing camps and making a change that was really been for the better. And I've really been working and getting better, and you'll see a new me in there on September 1st.
Awesome, and I see that you got a Tiger Schulman shirt. I
Hell
assume that's
yeah.
where you now training out of.
Yeah, man, dude, I was in a tough spot. I wasn't really happy with where I was. And I decided to come up here for a week, and I absolutely loved it. And then I moved up here like 2 weeks after that. And man, they took me in like family. It feels like I've known them forever. And I'm beyond grateful. It's been one of the best things I've ever done.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about some of the training partners you have there. I know Tiger Schulman's always producing top quality kickboxers and fighters. Tell us a little bit about some of the guys at the gym.
Man, dude, they produce everyone from the ground up. Like it's very impressive. And the training is just the coaches who care so much and they're so dialed in and so knowledgeable. And every day I'm on the mat with Shane Burgos, who's fighting soon. He's fighting August 23rd in the PFL. He's in the playoffs to get the
Hmm.
$1 million. There's Rob Verricchio. And man, dude, let me tell you, right? In Florida, I've trained with many guys, right? I've trained with Michael Chandler. I've trained everyone at Killcliff, all the 55ers that you can think of, right? I've trained with this guy, Rob Verricchio, that I've been training with that's fighting on the same card as me on the first is better than probably any 55er that I've trained with that's in the UFC, that's anywhere. He is a killer. And he's coming, dude. You guys got to look out for that guy.
All right.
Also, I got a lot of guys. Like I was just on the mat with Jimmy Rivera. Julio Arce is amazing. That he's just phenomenal, both as helping me out as a coach and on the mat training with him. I've never trained someone like that.
You're talking about training with guys down in Florida and then coming up here training in New York. Um, what is the difference? What do you feel that makes you feel more at home here at
Man,
Tiger Schulman?
like I'm a very analytical person. I feel like that's what got me into coaching like high level people. I feel like I have a good understanding of MMA and technical wise and technique. And I feel like everyone here at Tiger Showman's is on the same wavelength as me. Like they view MMA on the same spectrum as me. And they really have striking broken down how I have like grappling broken down. And for me, that was just so refreshing because in Florida, those guys train hard, man. And that's all it kind of really was. It was like every day we were just hitting it hard and we were getting good practices in. But I was really thirsty for like the knowledge. I was thirsty for more improvements. And in the week I
Mhm.
came up here, I feel like I made more improvements and learned more than I had for a while. So I knew if I made the change in a few months, I'll be completely different and I'll be way better. And I feel like that's what's happened. Because when I first moved up here, they told me, like, let's wait a few months before we fight. Because I was trying to line up fights all right away. They're like, let's wait a few months before we fight, really make some big improvements, and especially in my striking. Because, like, my grappling has always been there, but my striking, I feel like, is what I lacked in, but they've helped me tighten that up so much. They've put so much work and care into me. It just has always. It just still amazes me. You know what I mean? It feels so good to have people I trust around me and know that I'm being taken care of.
That's awesome. And, being a coach myself for football, though, I understand the aspect of watching film and kind of trying to
Yeah,
build on that
absolutely.
knowledge. How much film do you guys watch and to analyze and break down striking and the striking of your opponents?
Well, I know that all the coaches here, especially Ron Shulman, who really runs all the training, watches a ton of film. Like we're always saying, we're practicing what works at the top level. We're not trying to practice anything that doesn't. Like we're trying to practice things you see work 90% of the time, 100% of the time. and it's been really great. And like going into fights, they're always making sure everyone's prepared. Like we're always making sure we're practicing the right things and the right game plans for guys. And like me personally, I think I've said this on here before. Like I watch film every second I'm not
Mhm.
training. I'm watching film. I'm reading an article. I'm trying to look at something where I can just get a little bit of knowledge in a second that can take me, a very long way. So it's nice.
Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit about your opponent, Noel. What do you expect from him? What are the biggest, I guess, risks that he presents to you?
Yeah, he seems like on the feet to be kind of wild. Like he does throw like a straight jab every now and then, but then it seems like once he gets in the fight, it's a lot of just like right hands, like kill shots, kill shots, kill shots. And he likes to grapple too, which I'm welcoming 100%. He shoots a lot of double legs and likes to try to take people's backs. So I welcome that. Please bring that on. Because he's in for a rude awakening if he thinks he's going to try and grapple with me. So I would say his best chance would be on the feet trying to catch me with something hard, but even that's going to be difficult now. I'm ready to bring the fight to him, and I don't think he's ready for what's coming at him. But yeah, the biggest threat would be him on the feet, just trying to, guys that are real crazy and wild is not as technical. Random things could happen, things can come out of nowhere. So gotta be ready for that.
Aw Awesome, awesome. And you're fighting on CFFC, you're saying. How does it feel to be on this fight card, be a part of it? You're a professional. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Dude, it feels great. I feel like CFFC is the leading promotion for people to get to the UFC. I feel like they probably bring, I don't know what the stats are, but they probably bring the most guys to the UFC. The guys that go there, CFFC doesn't give you any easy fights, right? So the guys
Mhm.
that go to the UFC, they end up doing very well. So to be able to get on a CFFC card, first of all, lets me know I'm on my way up. And I'm hoping I can get this win and then turn around real quick and bang out a bunch of fights in CFFC because to me, I take pride in being able to get a fight there. And it'd be nice to go through there because then I know that I earned it. There's some of these guys that fight in other promotions that don't really ever fight anyone good. They're fighting dudes with losing records, even records. They're making their way to the
Yep.
UFC and they get a rude awakening. Like I would never want to be one of those guys. And I think there's a difference between getting to the UFC and doing well, or it's just like you've made it to the UFC because you sell a bunch of tickets and you fight 6 and 8 guys, and then you fight 3 fights and get cut. That
Mhm.
is not good. That's not what I'm going to be. I promise you that.
You're right though, because I feel like there's a lot of guys who do that. They fight
Yeah,
the soup cans, and then they get there, and I think they're just happy to be there and not to
yeah,
go
yeah.
further.
To
Now that
me, I'm sorry. I have no
no, what
respect
were
for
we gonna
people
say?
like that. Some people that just want to be in the UFC to say and tell their friends they're in the UFC. Like that's not cool. Like you know what I mean?
There's a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How's weight? You're fighting at lightweight. You're 155. Tell us a little bit where
Dude,
you
my
are
weight
on the
right now is
scale.
good. There was a little scare when I got the fight. I thought I was gonna fight a week later than I was. I thought I was gonna be on a different card. But now all my weight is under control. I actually was able to bulk up a lot with the time I had out. So I think I'm gonna come into this fight feeling a lot stronger. Because to be honest, I was a few weeks ago, maybe a little over a month ago, I was somewhere around 190, but with like
Okay.
abs. I had abs and I was pretty jacked. I was like, this is pretty nice. But now, now we're a lot lower.
All right.
It was a struggle for a few weeks there. I had to go on a few extra runs.
There you go. Tell us, I guess, some of the biggest differences from being an amateur to making that leap as a professional and to be successful. What are the biggest differences in your training and just your diet and everything overall?
I think you can see a lot of guys from my experience get away with a lot of things in amateur and then never make the change when they go pro. Like guys that like eat bad food, and then like crash diet and make weight. And then I think you see a lot of guys that are amateurs like win their amateur fights and then think they can put the same work in pro, and it's just not
Hmm.
the same. Like especially fighting 3 5s, that's 15 minutes. You fight an amateur
Yeah.
fight, that's 3 3s. That's not even 2 rounds of the 3 5s. Like you have to do a completely different cardio preparation. You have to get used to fighting for that long. And something that no one really thinks about is like when you fight 3 5s, you're not you're not like punching and attacking and doing stuff the whole time, but you have to find ways to be winning while recovering and doing less work. You know what I mean? It's like that's
Hmm.
why the dudes that have been fighting forever, the dudes that have like 30 fights or like guys that have like 20 fights or whatever, like they know how to like win time, and they know how to like, oh, if I win 30 seconds here, I could burst for 30 seconds, then I can win 45 seconds here. Whereas like an amateur fight, 3 minutes, you're just going. You know what I mean? Like you're just
Yep.
on the gas, and then the bell rings, and then you're resting, and then you're on the gas. You know what I mean? So it's still something I'm working on. Is being more patient for the 5 minutes and knowing when to explode and when to not. And like as far as the diet, I feel like I've always been good with my diet because I knew it was a big part. But I've seen so many dudes that eat fast food up until the week before their fight, and then they go out and win. But then they have a bunch of pro fights, and then they're fighting at the higher level, and then they can't pull the trigger in the fight, and then they gas out after a few minutes fight, and like they can't figure it out. And I'm like, well, maybe 2 weeks ago you were eating a cheeseburger, but like, maybe that's not the best thing, you know? So, and the competition's obviously harder. You know, when people are turned pro, they're obviously more serious about it, and
Hmm.
you have to come in it with a different mindset. You know,
Absolutely. What would you say you learned the most from you being a coach of a UFC champion? You're seeing her reach the highest levels. What did you learn from that being a coach of Amanda Nunes that you can now apply to your own career?
I would say seeing her over the weeks mentally start to turn it on. You know what I mean? Like we start training
Hmm.
camp like 8 9 weeks out. Like we're playing around. Then like 6 weeks, like she's a little more dialed in. You could see it. Then I remember being like 4 weeks out, and she looked at me. She was about to spar, and she just looked at me dead in the eyes with a straight face. She was like, "You know I'm gonna kill this girl, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like I was like, "Yeah, I definitely do know." But she was dead serious, straight face, and I was like, "Okay." And then like leading up through the whole fight week, seeing how she's the most popular, the best girl. So seeing her handle the media, seeing her on fight day being so chill and walking in, like the whole time, man, I was taking mental notes. I was taking like, okay, this is how you do that. This is how you do that. Like this is how you warm up. Like it was cool, and like I still take that with me. Like right now, I think I'm like about 4 weeks out. Now I keep like over and over in my head, like playing how she every week like got a little more in. Like we'd come in trading on Monday. She's like, I got 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and I'm gonna do this, this, and this to her. Then 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I'm gonna do this, this, and this to her. A week out, she's like, I'm gonna kill her. And I like every week getting a little more dialed in. I was like, man, like if I could be like that, like I'd be unstoppable. Yeah. Like that stuff's cool. And also, like when I was in Florida, I was around like just being at the same gym, like Usman and Chandler, and they had that same mentality. You could see them getting dialed in, like them, like all the blinders are on. And I think that's something that doesn't go talked about as much. Like there's some guys that prepare for the fight and they're just trying to distract themselves. They're not trying to deal with the fact that they're going to fight until that week or that day. But I think if you wake up and you go to bed and you go into every training session and you eat every meal with the mindset of like, this guy's gonna have to see me. You know what I mean? Like on this day,
Hmm.
September 1st, this guy's gonna have to see me. I'm gonna be there. Like I'm gonna kill him. Like I'm going in there to hurt him. Then you reach that next level. You know what I mean? That's what those guys do so well.
How do you see the fight playing out? What can fans expect from you inside the cage?
man, I'm coming to hurt this guy. And I think he's going to come out strong and we'll trade a little bit and he'll probably try to wrestle. And I think quickly he's going to realize that, first of all, he's going to get outskilled. And I think he's going to fade quickly in his cardio. And then I think I finish him in the second. I think he lasts the first and then he comes out the second. And I either submit him or it's a TKO. I don't see it going
Do you
past
put do you put pressure on yourself to finish someone in a fight like this?
No,
No, you
no,
knowing you're professional. No, not at all.
no. I train for 3 extremely hard rounds, but I just look at the matchup like they offered it to me, and I was like, I see where I'm gonna shine, and I see the holes, and I know I can execute. You know what I mean? So it's hard to see me not finishing him. You know what I mean? Especially with the way I've been training.
Awesome, Bobby. Any last words? You have any sponsors you want to recognize?
No, I just want to shout out Tiger Showmans. They're my guys, and they're my family, and I love them.
Awesome, Bobby. I'm looking forward to seeing you get in there. September
Thanks,
1st,
man.
fight will be on UFC Fight Pass, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you
Absolutely.
check it out at Cage Fury 123. Bobby, best of luck.
Thank you, Kyle. You're the man, dude.
Appreciate it. Make sure you check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We're signing off.
Later.